Why is Dimash's performance of Your Love so awesome? Hi, I'm Dr. Mark, and I'm going to help you sing and perform more like the top artists around the world. I'm a professional voice teacher, performance coach, and opera stage director. I've helped thousands of singers around the world learn the techniques and methods that got the top singers to where they are. Happy birthday to Dimash. Happy birthday to you. There's a group of other reactors and teachers out there that I think put together a happy birthday video. I missed the deadline, so here's my little contribution. Please feel free to look down below for some of these other reactors and commenters to see what they have for his birthday. Anyways, so excited to talk about Your Love and Dimash's performance of it. Let's do this.
I still remember us, were the times where we won, when we were warm.
Okay, so first of all, gorgeous set. Love everything that's going on. We have these really bright blues in front that kind of capture what's going on in the intensity of the music. At the beginning here, there's this kind of dissonance, but melancholiness, all these cool energies all happening at once here. And I think the sets and lights are doing an awesome job of capturing that, because you have these pretty like falling LED light things going on in the background, and it has so much depth and texture to it. Awesome. Now, what's also cool is because he's wearing this kind of orange, salmon-y, I'm not sure what color suit, it really pulls him out of that texture, makes him the center of attention. Remember, one of the costume's primary objectives is to help the audience know where to look. Especially if you're a soloist, what you're wearing really will either help the audience be able to focus on your face and focus on your performance, or it'll distract them, or it'll just be neutral and they won't really pay attention to you at all. So, number one goal of a costume is to draw the audience's attention. Now, if we look at a lot of pop rock and other types of more contemporary genres, they do this by kind of extreme outfits, right? That really draw our attention because they're novel and they do everything that might draw that audience's attention and keep them locked on that performer. What I love here is he elegantly captures that with this suit, black shirt underneath, and does it really well. It's still very vibrant, but classy at the same time. Very cool. Vocally, what's going on here? Got this asper, breathy tone that he likes to use a lot at the beginning of songs because it gives this more face-to-face, intimate type of reaction and communication style, right? Where even if we're in a big audience, we hear that sound and it just kind of feels like we have someone kind of whispering in our ear a little bit. So if you want to practice getting this breathy sound while keeping a consistent airflow and keeping that voice working relatively healthily and comfortably, try singing through a bigger diameter straw and keeping that airflow consistent. You'll notice a lot of times when I'm talking, I'm asking you to sing from a small stir straw type of straw to practice getting that consistent breath flow that we need to get this clean, clear sound. Well, when we get that breathy tone, we're going to use a larger volume of air. So practicing with a larger diameter straw can still help us get a consistent airflow, but use more air. Another way to visualize it is by putting that straw in a cup of water so you can see the bubbles coming up if you're having a hard time feeling the air coming through that straw, and keeping the bubble flow really consistent. Either way works and will help you get that airflow consistent even when it's breathy. What you will notice is you'll notice that you run out of air faster. You're using more. So you want to really save this for parts of the song where the phrase length is relatively short, not for that last final long held note. That's probably not the best note to use it on, because even if you have the lungs of a racehorse, it's not going to work for you if you're spending that much air. So to me, the complex emotion that I am sensing here at the beginning is captured by the music and how it's set up at the beginning, and also by the different visual and audio elements that we're hearing throughout this whole thing. So I think it set up this really gorgeous, emotionally rich context that we get to then hear the rest of the song in. So let's listen.
Do you recall? Nothing was dangerous. We had the strength to live our dreams, to feed our souls. Now what is left of all this love is hide the pain that I find.
Okay, notice that hand there? Extended gesture, it's big, not huge, his arm's not way out there, but his hand's there and open, but it's relaxed at the same time. Really important. We can use our hands, we want to be expressive, but in a song like this, especially where it's not tense or intense or angry or mad, where it's kind of melancholy, soft, more relaxed, we want to let our body have that same quality to it. And our hands are one place that the audience can see and identify really quickly if it gets stiff, rigid, tight, tense, and they'll be like, oh, that doesn't match the mood of the song.
What can I do to love again?
Notice, top teeth came out when he wanted to get that sound a little more forward, a little brighter, a little clearer.
Where do you live? What do you do at night?
Okay, here's the more dramatic, cleaner, clearer sound, little heavier chord adduction there, and we get this cleaner, clearer, more intense sound. That contrast is huge. Being deliberate about where you're creating contrast in any piece is really, really important. And being deliberate about it and preparing us for that as it's coming up, which he also does with what he's doing with his eyes, his face, and his body. Love it.
Do you still care? Do you still share memories? And when I sing, do you still hear my voice? Singing to you every note I can see.
Okay, what I want you to pay attention to is his mouth shape, what he's doing with his jaw, his mouth, his lips. You're going to see what's causing the sound that we're hearing. He's going back and forth between this clean, clear, more intense forward sound and this breathier, a little further back sound that is softer. And we're seeing that happen right here in front of us. Why that's important is because what you need to then do is go into a mirror, make those same shapes with your mouth and see what the effect is. Record it, listen back to it, see what it does. You're gonna notice that how you shape this mouth makes a huge difference on the sound that comes out into the room. A lot of people think there's something magical or mystical about the sounds that are being made or these singers and what they're doing. And don't get me wrong, I think there is something magical and mystical about it, but there's a lot to be learned just by recreating what you're seeing and seeing what your body does with that. I think you're going to be surprised by what happens to your technique just by imitating what you're seeing. Again, warning, if it gets tight, tense, uncomfortable, strained, or you start losing your voice really fast, or it gets tired really fast, or you're just exhausted, stop. Don't do that. Whatever it is, don't do it. Remember, the way we judge if we're doing something right, or we're doing something good, or we're doing something that's going to help our voice is if it's at least as easy as before and as comfortable, hopefully more comfortable and easier to produce that sound. Or we're getting more sound or a better sound with the same amount of effort here in our throat. As we're watching Dimash, you'll notice he stays really relaxed here. That doesn't mean he's not expressive. He's still expressive in his face, still expressive in his hands and his stance and his body. Not tense here. Okay, So earlier we talked about getting this breathier sound, right? And practicing by still keeping the airflow consistent and using more volume of air. So what do you do if you're having a hard time getting a cleaner, clearer, more robust sound, right? You're thinking, I want to get this really kind of emotionally connected, engaged sound. What do I do? Well, there's a lot of things that you can do. Here are 2 ideas. Number 1, try singing through the song on a goo or a ba. That's going to get those vocal folds to adduct a little more intensely and help you get that sound that's a little more connected and closed if you're struggling to get it. Now, realize we're always looking for balance. If it's pressing too hard together, we're going to get this pressed forward dense sound. If it's not coming together enough, we're going to get this breathy, airy sound, right? So it's always about finding that balance and making sure that we're keeping it easy here, like we talked about before. But the other thing you can do is just try to do size from the very bottom to the top of your range. Yeah! Trying to keep it smooth and really clean and clear and connected. If all of a sudden you jump a bunch of notes or it flips into somewhere else, stop. Realize that as we're making this sighing sound, our goal is just to keep it consistent. We're making noise. We're not singing. We're just making efficient, easy noise. Get out of your head. Stop judging the sound. Just think, keep it easy, smooth, consistent, and notice what happens. For most people, from going from the bottom up, it's easier to keep that connected place. For those people who find that it's really hard and they feel like they make a huge jump up on top and it's hard to keep it connected and smooth on top, then start with slides from the top down. Yeah! Keeping it really smooth and connected all the way down. Some people find that a lot easier. And if you're someone who struggles with over singing and getting over heavy anyways, then starting from the top down might be helpful. So there's some things that you can start doing right away to be able to have the tools in your tool bag, to have the colors that you want, to be able to choose and go back and forth between a breathy sound or a cleaner, more robust sound. You want to have all the tools in your tool bag so you can make the right color in the right moment that captures the music and the text, and so your body will come along for the ride too. Dimash is awesome at being able to transition between these different sounds, colors, styles, and it's really fun to watch because you can see a lot of times what he's actually doing in his body, especially if you watch up here what's going on that's allowing him to make those changes and those differences in sound. Now, what would be even cooler is if there's some way for us to see what's going on here in his abs too and what he's doing there. Obviously, he's got a coat on and that isn't going to happen anytime soon. I don't think he's going to let a bunch of people come up and really touch his stomach as he's singing and tell us what's going on there. But regardless, my guess is what we're going to find is that he's really engaged these stomach muscles and keeping them suspended and flexible as he's going up into these higher ranges and getting it clean and clear and engaged. This breathy sound, ideally, we're still going to keep those muscles engaged, but again, it's going to have those muscles are going to have to collapse faster to let more air out to get that breathier sound. Consequently, there's going to be less resistance there. For this cleaner sound, you're really going to feel a lot of resistance and keeping those stomach muscles suspended and open. Let's see what else we got. You see that top space? Lip starts covering. He's going into this position in back, pulling the placement back, putting that vibrato in. It gives us this more classical soprano countertenor type of sound. He's still keeping the placement forward, but really tall and back. That jaw you can see here right where we stopped. The jaw is coming down and back. And we're getting this warmer, richer, not as bright, brash sound that we had a little bit ago. That's what's going on. Give it a try. Okay, so if he's pulling it back and we're getting this height in it, why isn't it sounding swallowed? Well, you'll notice there's still a lot of lift here. And like we said, he's keeping that placement forward. So even when you get tall and wide and open in the back, the temptation is want to let the placement of that sound pull back. Again, what do we mean by placement? Well, we use some of these terms as voice teachers in a lot of different ways. If you go to each voice teacher, they'll be using the same term, but they'll kind of mean something a little bit different sometimes. In this case, what I'm talking about by placement is where are we feeling that sound resonate or buzz in our body? Are we feeling it buzzing up here in our sinuses? Do we feel like we're sending it back here and it's staying trapped back here? Is it coming out in front of us? What's going on? And that's what's happening here is Even though it's tall and that sound is getting shape back there, it's not staying back there. It's continuing forward and staying really forward and buzzy and bright at the same time. We talk about this all the time. That's what gets this chiaro scuro, really operatic sound. Love it. Okay, love what I'm seeing here. Body language wise, as the song gets more intense, his movement, his actions becoming more intense. You might be thinking, okay, how do I get these really high bird-like notes that he's getting? Well, the first place to start is doing it on a whoo sound, almost like you're hooting like an owl. That ooh is going to help you get a lot of air out. It's going to keep you from clamping up, getting tight. It's also going to try to keep things open and lifted without any tension. Our goal as we're going up these highest notes is to make it so we don't get tight and tense, so this throat doesn't grab, so the airflow doesn't slow down. And this is one way that you can start practicing today that should help you unlock some of these highest notes that stays easy. Once you get that, then you can start connecting it to the rest. Again, I really like these sighs all the way up, and try different vowels, see which ones are easiest for you and help you get the sound that you're looking for. Different people find that different vowels work for that best for them. There's some consistent ones here, but what I want you to play with today is just experimenting and exploring those sounds. Again, with the goal staying easy, open, and relaxed here.
What can I do to love again?
I am just so flabbergasted always by watching Dimash because he switches styles so fast. Again, you might say, well, it's Dimash style, and I would agree with that. It's just Dimash style. But what's so interesting is that his body comes along with the different styles that he's singing. So, for example, if he has a more pop sound, his body reflects that more pop sound. It has more kind of jazz kind of sound, his body reflects that. If it has more operatic sound, we see his body engage in a way that's more operatic, which isn't surprising because those different styles of singing engage our body in different ways. And they kind of have different emotional qualities to them as well. But it's just really fascinating to see how facile he is at switching from one thing to the other. What the other cool thing is watching is that you'll notice sometimes he gets really static, big, dramatic gestures, right? He spreads his feet super wide apart and gets this big, super dramatic kind of pose. Or in this moment, he's going down to his knees. Super dramatic, kind of static. But you'll notice in between there that those static gestures don't completely freeze or get stuck. They're always coming to and from somewhere. Their transition space, he never really locks into one position for more than a phrase. That's the key. Absolutely the key. If you watch someone talking, they can kind of hold a gesture or something similar. It's not frozen, but it's relatively static for a phrase. But then they have a new idea, and then their whole body language shifts to express that new idea. He's capturing this here. He is so sensitive to what's going on musically in the phrases that his body intrinsically comes along for the ride with it. And I think that's just really cool to see that happen. Even when he has this super dramatic moments, he then frees it up and is free enough to follow the impulse to kind of do a little dance, excited, like in between thing, which is also, by the way, really helpful because it helped him kind of relax and release any tension he might have had as he's finishing off the end of this big song. So really cool. Really, really, really cool that he's able to pull off these huge dramatic gestures while staying flexible enough and free enough to be able to follow the impulse. That's something to practice. And the only way to practice that is by going through those extremes, focusing on staying relaxed, released, loose, even when you have a lot of emotional energy and tension there. Keep it moving. Don't let any part of your body absolutely freeze. It doesn't mean you have to move and be fidgety, but there's always got to be some motion, some freeness and ability to move. If you'll do that with your body, it'll also help your voice be free to do the same thing. Give it a try. Walk around, move, try it.
Will you have a tear? Big will you have a tear? Big
Okay, what is that vowel he's singing there at the top? It's all ah. It's ah. I mean, not even trying to change it or modify with his lips or tongue to change something else. It's just pure ah. Now, you'll notice that jaw's released, that tongue's nice and forward and flat, which makes it work really well. You'll notice if you use that ah, the temptation for people still starting to try to keep that open ah place is for that tongue to pull back and that jaw to pull forward and get tight and tense. You can't do that. That doesn't work. That's going to get you really uncomfortable, tight, and not work for you. If you sing just ah, upper two smile, ah, jaw released, tongue forward and flat, you're going to find that you get this really bright, vibrant sound up here in this top range. That is what we expect to hear in pop songs, rock songs, often in music theater, and a version of this we also hear in opera at the very top registers of higher voices as well. It's modified and changes a little bit differently. But for now, I want you to play with this, see what happens. Now, I've spent a lot of time this week teaching students where they feel like they're doing an ah, but really it keeps modifying towards an ah. Ah and ah are very different. Say them. Say hot, then say hat. And really pay attention what the shape feels like here and back. Once you feel like you can do it on an ah vowel all the way through with keeping this jaw released down and back, that tongue forward, then what you want to do is keep that same sensation. Make sure that you're keeping this ah place back here, this 80% of a yawning smile feeling in the back, and then just letting the tongue and teeth wrap around it. Really let it go as far to the ah as possible. Be super lazy here. Just do a little bit and slowly add until you can keep a complete ah here in the back with shaping as pure vowels from here forward. You're gonna find, especially singing rock and pop, that this is a little more relaxed than you would expect, and this is a little more intense and open and expanded than you're expecting as well. The hardest vowels to do this with are O, U, Those are default gonna wanna make changes in the back, so really work on doing ah, O. The other exercise you can do is just on go to an ah, sing on any note with that ah, and then go back and forth to the vowel that you're actually having to sing on. So say it's an O, ow, 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 trying to match that O to the ah. So it's not ow, 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 ow. It's staying more consistent with the ah. In which case, you're gonna find that they start matching and should ease up some of those sounds that you're gonna find are a little more difficult for you. As always, it's a pleasure to watch and listen to Dimash. I hope he has an amazing birthday. Don't forget to tell me down below what you liked. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can find me and book a lesson at foundyourvoice.com. You can also find me on wizio.com if you just want a shorter direct response to an audio clip or video clip. We'll see you next time when we try to find new ways to help you be able to say, I found my voice.